This is an emergency announcement. Everybody remain calm and shelter in place. At this time, it has been confirmed that a new update has finally come to Counter-Strike 2. We are still receiving reports from the field, but it appears another box has been added to Dust2. That's right, out of nowhere, Valve finally hit us with that massive summer update we've all been waiting for. And no, it wasn't an operation, and no, it wasn't a new case, I know, bummer, but guys, you gotta look at the upside. JL finally gets his major trophy, and we finally get a more playable version of Dust2. In my opinion, that's a pretty big W. Anyways, it's been clear that since the introduction of Dust2, it has unfortunately languished within the meta. Despite the changes that were made in the transition to CS2, Dust2 still pretty much plays the same way we've always known it to play, and it's getting pretty frustrating pretty fast, especially with how the map pool overall is starting to feel. So I think it was definitely time for Valve to take a look at Dust2 and try and shake things up. Instead of fixing the way that the doors look on B, they instead decided to shake up the A site for the first time in what feels like close to 2 decades. And with this introduction of this new box, I really can't emphasize enough just how much Dust2 is about to change in terms of what the CTs are going to be doing every single round. But I had to go verify it myself, so instead of reporting on the update right away, I hopped over onto my stream. Link in the description, you should follow me right now, please do it. Hi, how are you? Hope you're having a good day. You look great, hair looks nice. Tell your wife I said hi, I'll be home later. And I gotta say, overall, I'm really positive about this change and how it's going to affect the way we play Dust2. So today, we're gonna unbox everything that goes into this and take a look at what you need to know. But before we do, make sure you guys take a second, leave a like, leave a comment down below, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It helps out immensely in the YouTube algorithm, so make sure you do it. While you're down there, consider becoming a channel member. For $5 a month, you can support me directly in what we do here, gain access to regular uploads the night before everyone else, as well as a shout out at the end of every video. And I'm serious, I'm no longer asking. Follow me on Twitch. Do it. Alright, so on the face of it, I'm sure you're looking at the length of this video, you're looking at me, you're looking at yourself, and you're wondering how is he going to stretch one change to Dust2 into a 10-minute video? And listen, don't worry, I'm very good at this, but this one box really is that significant of a change to Dust2, because please consider the following. The old fast cat of having someone else have to go over and boost you up was significantly slower than what you can do now by just running up the boxes yourself. Regardless of spawn, getting to fast cat is now significantly faster than whatever optimal setup we've had previously with being boosted by your teammates, and that means a lot for the timings on the map. I went into the private match after I played my games with my brother Justin, and we took a look at the timings, and on average, you are getting there as soon as T's with the fastest possible fast cat spawn are turning the corner. You're basically beating them to catwalk if you have any of the optimal spawns to go A. And that's insane for the CTs to be able to hold mid control. And keep in mind, that's if the T's have an optimal spawn to run fast cat, knife out the entire time, and don't care about mid or anyone who may contest them. If they have to stop and smoke mid, if they have to flash mid, if they have to fight your opper who's down there by double doors, you are beating them to mid with an optimal spawn every single time. That is insane for what the CTs have in terms of their defensive setup. That amount of speed is going to change how every CT setup looks at Dust2 entirely. And that's just the fast cat versus mid rush setup. Let's consider if the T's want to go to the B site. You are beating every relevant T spawn to lower tunnels every single time. I had many times in the few games that I played where I was able to get fast cat out to mid, be able to smoke off mid and molly lower before we even knew that they were in tunnels. The T's were just getting to lower tunnels by the time I was fully set up, and my Molotov could deny them the map control. This is going to change B pressure forever, in my opinion. And another one of the relevant timing windows to consider is that if you go fast cat to watch mid, but the T's decide to push long A, something that's obviously very common, if you get up there fast enough, you could start walking before the T's get out of long A and start the long A flank before they're even at car. I timed this up with my brother exactly where he had a long A spawn, he went out, he played like he was clearing the site like normal. I was entering long doors before he was up ramp onto the A site. That's how close I was able to get on the A flank immediately in the case of a full long A push. And that's obviously simulated with optimal spawns, but you get the idea. You can just, instead of holding cat to help your teammates, you can start the A flank immediately in a way that you never could before because you're getting up to catwalk so fast. And honestly, the timings aren't even the best part about this change. The way this helps the manpower issue on Dust2 is actually really cool. Because right now, previous to this, The most common CT side setup was to have 3A to help support the long A push, 1 mid, usually your opper, and then 1 B, with the mid player being the secondary B player if he gets pushed out immediately. And so a very common sequence that you would see at the beginning of the rounds for the CTs is you'd have 3 go long A to help with the nade barrage and to hold the long A push, and then 1 would usually fall back, go back to A site, and then go to catwalk if mid needed that support. If you wanted to say play a fast cat in the previous version, you were essentially giving up the ability to stack the extra players on the long A attack. You would need a second person for the boost. They couldn't get there to the fast long timing, meaning you either had to play passive long or have long A be held by just 1 person, which is obviously not as ideal as having 2 or even 3 people there. Now we can have this same 3A setup. 2 players can go long as normal and not fuck up their spawn timings, and the 3rd player can go fast cat solo, help mid, help lower, start the A flank right away. The way this affects the manpower is so great. No longer are the Ts like de facto given so much map control. There's a lot more room for CTs to express themselves and proactively take aggressive map control back from the Ts, and I really do think this is going to make the map actually a significant amount more even than it currently is. Which is certainly a wild thought, because pretty much for the entire history of Dust2, it's always been a T-slanted map. And don't get me wrong, it's still going to be a T-sided map. It's just going to be a little less favorable than it is right now, and I think that's a big step in the right direction, because I think one of the big problems with current Dust2 is it feels like the CTs have very limited options. It's usually you're holding sites and you're holding mid, maybe occasionally you're going to push lower tunnels or upper tunnels, maybe you make a long A push. Going for fast cap because of the requirement of the second person really wasn't done that often because the resources required weren't worth the benefits. But now, it's worth it to go catwalk basically every round, which is pretty much what I did when I was playing my games. I went fast cat every single time, and I always felt like it was a strong position for me to be in whether I did something with it or not, and obviously I would get shot a lot because, you know, I'm not very good at the game. So I know on the surface this seems like a really small update, and that's why a lot of people are memeing it to hell and back on Twitter, and I get that. It feels like we haven't had a significant content update in a while and people are starting to get frustrated, but I need people to realize these kinds of small updates to maps are what can really swing a map around in viability. I'm going to cast you guys all the way back. This is such an old update now, but remember when Mirage used to not have the wood panel and connector? I do, and it made connector a lot worse of a position to lose than it is now. And when Valve changed Mirage and added that wood panel and made connector wallbangable, that changed a lot about how Mirage was played. It was almost an entirely different map because you couldn't tuck into connector anymore. And it seems so insignificant on the surface, but it adds so many small interactions, it adds a lot of nuance, and it changed how we looked at the map forever. This is one of those changes. And unlike the last time they did something like this to Dust2, namely when they removed the ability to see mid doors from T-spawn, I actually think this is going to be such a cool change for how we look at Dust2 going forward. I think it's healthy. I think it opens up a lot of viability for the CT sides that previously wasn't there, and most of all, it makes the map a little bit fresher. We never really considered a Dust2 meta where fast cat was available every single round, and it's going to force every T side in the world to reconsider their mid aggression forever. That's the kind of changes I want to see come to the game, and I hope Valve keep doing them to tweak these maps to be the best version they can be. But hey, those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think about this update in the comments down below. Have you had a chance to play with this update? Do you hate this change? Do you like it? Let me know and I'll be down there responding as always. This video is powered by Advanced.gg. If you're looking for a new energy supplement, multivitamin, sleep aid, or even an electrolyte solution to add to your daily routine, I highly recommend it. And if you do decide to buy, you can use my code LIONS10 at checkout for 10% off. And it lets them know that I sent you their way. Shout out to my channel members, Justin, Jesse, Furley, Bubblesj, and Dr. Cocktor. Thank you guys for keeping the lights on. And lastly, make sure you guys check me out on Twitch. We streamed all the games there. I edited this video live on Twitch. Hello, Twitch chat. So if you guys want to come by, maybe occasionally I'll do this more often, showing you guys the behind the scenes of how I make these videos. Come on by, check me out, drop me a follow. And other than that, my name is LionHeartZ. I'll see you guys soon with another video. Peace.